Hey guys, welcome to this week's episode, and I'm so excited. I have a friend that I met. Her name is Heather Moser, and we're doing a Thin Eater interview. And I met her at the Longboat Key Club in Sarasota, Florida. I was down there for a wedding, and I saw her. And let me just tell you, you can, if you're listening on the podcast, you definitely want to go check this video out on YouTube, because she's absolutely drop dead gorgeous, and you can't really see her body, but she has like the perfect body. And I was there with my husband, and I got to tell you, like, I literally spotted her and her sister, and they both are just like, when I tell you their body is like a 10, they are like a perfect 10. And I spotted them, and my husband always jokes me, and I said, oh my gosh, look at those two girls over there, look how beautiful they are and how perfect their bodies are. I was like, okay, I'm leaving, I'm going for an interview. And I literally interviewed her for like an hour and a half, and my husband was like, this is what I'm talking about. Every time we go on vacation, you are like, you'll spot the most gorgeous girl that there is, and then you go interview them for an hour and a half, and that's exactly what happened. So Heather, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
So I'm going to just ask you kind of the same questions that I ask everyone, and I asked you that day that I met you. But I want to kind of talk to me about, first of all, have you always been thin and always had a great body? And kind of describe your eating and your journey of kind of being thin.
Okay, so no, I have not always been thin. When I was in high school, I was an average weight. My family loved to work out. My dad used to play for the NFL. My mom was into fitness, and I really was not into fitness or dieting. And my mom got me a trainer my senior year of high school, and it really changed my life. I started to love to work out and became a healthy eater. And really I was at a good place. And then as time went on, I became a little obsessed with what I ate. It just consumed every thought. It was like everything I put into my mouth, I was counting calories all day. And then I thought about, what's my next meal? Like, the only thing I was looking forward to was my next meal. And at one point I was actually a little too thin. I think I got an eating disorder from it. And then once I had children, I kind of balanced myself out. And now I feel like I'm at a great place where I eat healthy and I have healthy habits, but I'm not constantly thinking about food. I have other things in my life that I'm focused on, and I want to look good, but I have more important things that I worry about now, not just the way I look and did I lose 5 pounds or gain a pound here and there.
Awesome. So describe like your portion sizes. Like, what do you do to keep your portion sizes down?
So I have an unusual trick that I use to keep my portion sizes down. I always grab my children's bowls and their cups and their plates, and I try to eat off of that. So in the morning, if I have a bowl of granola, instead of getting an adult sized bowl of granola, I take a child's bowl of granola and I eat that. And surprisingly, I'm full. But if I were to fill the adult bowl of granola, I would also eat the whole thing and be absolutely stuffed. So a little trick for me is, if I have a smaller bowl or a smaller dish, I use that and I fill it up and I feel like I ate a full plate. Only my plate is probably half the size of maybe somebody else's plate.
So if you are at a restaurant, let's say you're ordering something, would you, like, if you were going to eat a sandwich, would you eat the whole sandwich? Would you eat part of it? Describe how that looks like for you.
So I probably never eat a whole sandwich. I will do one of two things. I'll eat half of a full sandwich, or I will, if it has a large bun, I'll maybe take off the top bun. Or if there's a lot of meat on the sandwich, I actually do like deli sandwiches with lunch meat. But if you go and they stack it up, 2 inches thick, I take half of it off. I always cut down my sandwiches. I never eat a full sandwich.
So, what is like your absolute favorite food that you would say, like, this is my favorite savory food and this is my favorite sweet food? And how do you control yourself? Since if you love that food so much, what do you do to kind of control how much you're eating?
So my favorite food, if I were to order like for dinner, would be sushi. And one way I eat sushi without overeating, because I absolutely love it, is I definitely use chopsticks, which I'm horrible at using. So I have to slow down the bites that I take. And obviously, smaller portions. I try to take my time when I eat. And the first step, like especially being out at a restaurant, is I don't over order. So if you over order, you're more likely to eat more. So I try to just get one roll and eat that slowly with chopsticks. Now, as far as a savory dessert, I love peanut butter pie, and it has like a chocolate Rice Krispie treat crust with like a peanut butter whipped icing on top. And I usually make this for myself on my birthday every year. And I really take my time and enjoy it. I take just a little bit of the icing off to start out with, and I slowly eat it. And I just honestly savor every single bite of it. And don't get me wrong, usually that pan is gone by the end of the night, but I'm so sick off of it, I don't want it until the next year.
That's funny. So would you say that when you eat, do you eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or do you eat just 2 meals a day? How much do you eat 3 meals a day? What's your routine look like?
So I definitely eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I usually have the same thing for breakfast and for lunch. For breakfast, I have 2 eggs over easy with a veggie sausage, and I chop it up into little pieces. So I'm always taking small bites, and I have about 3 black coffees every morning. And then usually for lunch, I eat lunch around like 1 or 2, and I'll have just turkey and cheese with mustard and a pita. And if I'm still hungry after I eat that, I'll try to have an apple. I try to stay away from the chips. And then for dinner, I do cook. So I watch what I, put in my dinners, but I eat a full dinner, and then usually a cup of tea before bed is what I have. But I don't eat, I eat everything I want, just not as much as I want.
Good. I like that. You eat everything that you want, just not as much as you want. That's really powerful. I love that line. Now, as far as one of the things that we talked about is you told me when we met that you try not to let yourself get too hungry. So sometimes you might have a drink that will, have you not be as hungry, or like a little snack in your purse. Talk to me about those drinks or snacks to kind of keep you so that you're not ravenously hungry.
Sure. So I always have snacks on me. In my car, I'll keep dried fruit, or a granola bar. And then just as I'm like leaving the house or running back and forth and cleaning, if I feel like I start to get shaky, I start to get a little bit weak and I'm hungry, to me, that's a huge signal like, okay, you're going to completely overeat if you don't grab something soon. So I always have bags of grapes or carrots, something ready to just grab that I walk around with and eat, so I'm not hungry. I never let myself get too hungry. Because then it's done. You eat everything you see.
So what about the drinks that you talked about? You talked about having like a water with lemon or water with lime. Those drinks that you have just kind of take that edge off. Talk about that.
Sure. So during the day, I'm always sipping on a lime Pellegrino, or a regular Pellegrino with a lime squeezed into it. And that's very fulfilling for me. It makes me feel like I'm not just having water and that I am sipping on something during the day. And the carbonation is very filling, surprisingly. But that's a trick I have. I really don't waste my calories with juices and soda. I mean, I can't even remember the last time I had a soda or pop. But I try to always have some sort of Pellegrino in my hand. And for me, that's huge.
Remember when we were there, I bought you one of my favorite drinks that I make. It's like a Pellegrino with lime, a little bit of cucumber, and they mull it with that fresh mint. Wasn't that delicious?
Drink. And I've tried to create it about 3 times, and it's not as good as the one that you gave me. That could be dessert after dinner.
I know, it's so good. So yeah, so all it is just Pellegrino or any kind of soda water, not tonic water because tonic has sugar in it, but just any kind of carbonated plain soda water with nothing added in it. And then you just take cucumbers, and the key is you have to take it and put it in some kind of thing where you can crush the cucumber, crush the mint, and crush the lime, so all those flavors really mold together. But that's how I pretend like I'm drinking with everyone, because everyone's like, oh, it's basically like a mojito with none of the sugar and none of the alcohol, and it's delicious. It's like a cucumber mojito. It's so good. It was so yummy. Let's talk about your workout. I know that you had talked to me about the fact that you really focus on your weight training and how that's shaped your body. I'd love for you to, if you're willing to, send us a couple pictures so I can post on the internet of you in your bathing suit, because you just literally, I mean, when I tell you guys, I wish you guys could all see her in her bathing suit. She really has the perfect body. If I could literally snap my fingers and go, whose body do I want to have? Heather's would be it. I mean, she's just gorgeous.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I love to weight train, and I have found that weight training versus cardio really helps me to keep my weight down. It lets me eat more. It makes my metabolism faster. So I do a lot of lightweight, high rep, a lot of toning exercises, and I try to work out 6 days a week for an hour. And when I'm working out, I mean, that hour, I push myself a little bit harder every day. I really do. And as far as that goes, sometimes I get bored with my workout, and I try to always add in new things. For example, my daughter started playing tennis this winter, and they have a gym there. So on top of my regular workout, while she's playing tennis, I add in a workout. And this summer as well, when we've been at our country club during golf and tennis and whatnot that our kids have, I have been surrounding myself with friends who like to work out as well. So we bring our tennis shoes and we walk while they're doing their activity. And I also have been trying to add in an extra walk here and there with just my neighbors. There's a group of us that say, hey, we're exhausted tonight, but when we all get home, rain or shine, let's force each other to walk, or we'll meet at my house and I will help train them and work them out. And it's a really good system for when you're busy and tired, and to keep your workout in your day.
So one of the things you talked to me about is that you really try to stop eating when you're satisfied and not when you're stuffed. Talk to me about that for just a second, of how you know when you are getting to that place of that you are satisfied.
Okay, so I would say I start out with, I'm not going to begin my meal where I'm starving. And that is like the biggest thing, because then you can't help control how much you overeat at that point. You're letting yourself get out of control when you get too hungry, in my mind.
Mm-hmm. And that's why you said you have those snacks with you. You kind of have those snacks in your purse. You had told me you have nuts or dried fruit. I remember you said jokingly, you said, if you look in my purse right now, you're always going to find nuts or dried fruit. Is that right?
are, you're going to find, and my son has a nut allergy, so I try to make sure I have like small packages for my daughter and I, but really it's great. It's protein and it's filling. I try to have snacks on me all the time, because for me, if I let myself get too hungry, I just cannot stop eating.
You can't make wise decisions anymore.
Right. I don't make wise decisions and I eat too quickly. So what I try to do is just, and make a conscious effort when I go down to eat, when I sit down to eat, even though I'm talking to my friend or whatever conversation I'm involved in, I am always thinking about what I am eating when I sit down. So I am saying like, hey, slow down a little bit. I always leave something on my plate. So my goal is to not eat everything on my plate, to leave a little bit there. So that kind of keeps me in control as well. And just slowly eating. If I'm drinking alcohol, I tend to eat a little bit more, especially after, if like a waitress hasn't taken away the appetizers or whatnot, I'll pick if I'm drinking. So a trick I have is when I have a glass of wine, I will have a glass of water in between each glass of wine. And with that being said, I only can drink 2 glasses of wine. So I have a glass of water, wine, water, wine. That helps.
Do you ever like pray about like, God help me not to overeat, or help me to, not use food as a tool to kind of, if you're angry or you're upset or anything like that, do you ever kind of pray that you wouldn't be using food as a tool for anything other than hunger?
My prayer is usually for God to help me keep my focus in check, so that I'm not just focused in on things that are don't have any value to them. So if I get too focused in on the way I look, for example, and I'm thinking about what am I going to wear, or what, did I get all my makeup? Did I get my workout in? What am I eating? So it's basically what you're saying. I haven't had the specific prayer for God to help me with my food, but I definitely try to pray to like not be so focused in on those sort of superficial values.
Good.
So, and I do think that helps.
So tell me how you know when your body is full. Like what are some of the cues that you start feeling where you're like, I'm starting to get full. I need to start pushing this food away.
I feel like I'm very in touch with my body, and I can just tell that, as I'm eating, usually it's like as half my plate starts to empty out, I'm just like, I feel full, my stomach just feels like it's just my pants are getting a little tighter. Like I'm just getting a little full. And so that's when I push my plate away. I mean, I don't like the way I feel when I'm stuffed. I don't think anybody really likes the way that they feel when they're stuffed. So, I just try to get up and start moving, or like go to a different location. And I think sitting at a table, for a long period of time, you end up overeating. I mean, everybody does, because you're sitting there and you have nothing else to do but eat.
So kind of moving locations. Any other tips if you're at a restaurant and you go, okay, I'm there, I've got my food right there. What are things that kind of help you slow yourself down? Because one of the things I've heard you say over and over is that you eat very slow. First of all, how long does it take you to eat? If you had to estimate the time that you have a plate of food in front of you, how long does it take you to eat?
So I would say about 15 to 20 minutes is how long it takes me to eat. And I try to not just focus in on inhaling my food. So what I'll do is, if I'm at my house, I'm cleaning as I'm walking around eating a sandwich, and I'll try to do, like, I'll take a couple bites of my sandwich, then, make a bed, and then take a couple more bites of my sandwich. And, it's funny because I find that I don't even need the whole sandwich. I'm full. So if you slow down what you eat and you think about that, you're not going to be hungry. Your stomach, your food starts to digest, and you're not as hungry. But if you eat that sandwich quickly, you don't even give yourself a chance to be full. So when I'm at home, I try to slowly eat and do other things as I'm eating. Now, when I'm at a restaurant, what I do is, I usually try to put my fork down and take a break as someone's talking or as I'm talking to slow myself down. So instead of eating while someone's talking and just keep shoveling it in, I try really hard to just slow down, maybe put my fork down and just sit and listen, have, sip of my drink, and then go back to eating. So I take like breaks, I just take a few breaks. I'm always the last one to get my plate taken away.
That is so good. That's so good. And I hear that over and over again with people just saying, the slower I eat, the less I eat, because my body has signaled that I'm full. So I hear that over and over. Any other tips that you could share with listeners that you say, this was just a tip for me that said, hey, this helps me either slow down, it helps me eat less, it helps me not to be, obsessive compulsive. Any other tips that you can think of that you could share with listeners?
Well, I think as far as, slowing down and not overeating is to just have a goal in mind. Like everybody has a weight that they're happy at, that they feel good, and they go and they get dressed and they feel like they look good. They don't feel like they wish they were a pound or two thinner, So I would say take it week by week. I have a girlfriend right now who she wants to lose 5 pounds, and she gets overwhelmed with thinking that she loves to eat. So she gets overwhelmed with thinking that she has to deprive herself all week. So I say take it a week at a time and say every day this week I'm going to be prepared with my snacks. I'm going to get enough sleep because, we all overeat when we don't get enough sleep. And I'm going to make these conscious efforts to, have a glass of water before I sit down for a meal, and to really slow down my eating and just constantly be thinking about it.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining us today, Heather. You are just such a delight. I feel like we became fast friends the second that I met you. I'm totally in love with this girl. She's like my best friend immediately.
I feel the same. Thank you for having me.
Well, if you have a question that you want answered, go to questions@chantelrayway.com. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.